You're listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
All right, here we go, Charleston, the moment you have all been waiting for. Stats. Well, first of all, I know some of you like the stats that I read. Some of you are like, time to change the channel. I love stats. I mean, I have followed this market so closely over the past 17 years that and I'll tell you the truth. I got into this business fresh out of college, right? I graduated college. I had some fun for a few months. I got my real estate license and boom, off I went, and I haven't looked back. And one of the ways that I differentiated myself as a young man was by being available, right? I was unmarried for the first few years of my career. I got married when I was 24. Didn't have kids yet, and I was just an animal. I mean, working 60, 70, 80-hour weeks in real estate in an environment, by the way, especially in the South where, you know, if your real estate agent logs 30 hours a week, I'd be surprised. It's one of the only industries I know of where people want to work 10, 20 hours a week with a six-figure expectation, right? So still looking for one of those jobs, but just kidding. But anyways, you know, the market has been, or my ability to study the market, I should say, has been one of the differentiating factors in terms of why people choose to work with us. We get it. We follow it. It is habitual for us. It is something we are proactive about. And people rely on us to help them understand what's going to happen in the market so they can make informed decisions. That's why this show was created a decade ago, was to help you better understand what's happening in the market so that you can rely on that information to make decisions. And let's be honest, if you go online, as an example, which, by the way, we've got a podcast on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify. We've got, I want to say, like 700-ish videos on YouTube where we video our radio show. And so you can watch me talk if you'd like. But there's also a bunch of other information on there. But we share all this information with you so that you can make informed decisions. It's very hard to find this kind of information, is what I'm saying. Like if you just search for a podcast on real estate from a consumer perspective, it's almost impossible to find. It's all about investing or helping agents build their business. Not a lot of information out there for the consumer. So that's why this show was born and will hopefully continue to thrive. And so thank you to those of you that listen to this show and rely on the information within it to help shape your understanding of the real estate market and the process of buying, selling, and investing in real estate. I'm humbled by that. And for those of you that call and give us the opportunity to earn your business, you know who you are. Thank you very much. So let's first of all, if you want to reach out to me, if you'd like information on the real estate market, if you'd like to know what your home is worth, if we'd like to have a deeper conversation about the trends within your specific area so that you can start to formulate some plans, then feel free to give me a call or text me. My number is 843-800-0065, 843-800-0065, or listingsincharleston.com is our website, listingsincharleston.com. So let's talk about the local real estate market here in Charleston. I'm going to hit a few different things. I want to talk about just like a broader market overview. I want to talk about what's happening with regard to some of the activity that we're seeing among buyers, kind of the precursors, if you will, to pending contracts and sales, which are down a pretty big way. And then we'll talk about like Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties. So just broad stroke overview of the market right now. If we look at year to date, and this is, by the way, for numbers ending, in February, right? Of course, we don't have March numbers yet, but year to date, 2023, new listings are down 17.5%. In fact, if you look at February last month compared to February of 2022, we're about 21% behind pace. Pending sales, properties that are under contract, they've accepted an offer, they're just waiting to close. Those are down 18%. Closings, actual transactions, are down 29% so far this year. Now, you've got to remember, these numbers are going to look a little harsh because if we're talking February of 22, I mean, we basically everybody has said that our market peaked March of last year. So next month's numbers will look, I think, a little worse than this month's numbers, February's numbers. And then from there, I think you'll start to see some more declines, because that's when things really started to shift, was spring of last year. Now, days on market, the amount of time it's taking to sell a property. If you look at February last year compared to February last month, it's basically doubled. It went from 24 days to 46 days. And 48 would technically be doubling, but you get the point. Median sales price. Year to date, we're up 4.6%. The median sales price in the Charleston metro area is $386,100. This time last year, it was $375,000. Average sales price, bit of a different way of looking at it. Year to date, we're up 5.7%. I like using median because it removes some of those outliers. Now, here's another one. Percentage of original asking price received. This time last year, 99.8% was about what you could expect to receive when you listed your home for sale. Now, as of last month, it was 95.3%. So we're starting to see these, I guess what I should say is we're continuing to see price adjustments. We're continuing to see negotiability between the buyer and the seller. Buyers are very rarely out there paying what the sellers want them to pay anymore. It's just, buyers are back to negotiating, and sellers that can kind of get out of their own way and play the game a little bit are the ones that are finding success. The ones that are stubborn, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's a lot more challenging if it even happens in the first place. Now, housing affordability. This is something that we talk a lot about because it's just, it's very relevant information. So the Housing Affordability Index measures housing affordability for a particular region. So as an example, like an index of 100 would mean that the median household income is 100% of what is necessary to qualify for the median priced home under prevailing interest rates. So the higher the number, the better the affordability is. We have had a rough go of affordability for three reasons. There are three things that impact affordability: home prices, interest rates, and wages. All right. So right now, as of last month, the affordability index was at 80, meaning in the Charleston metro area, the median household income is 80% of what is necessary to qualify for that median priced home. 80%. And remember, our median sales price is $386,100. So in other words, in order for that playing field to be level, we need a 20% increase in our wages and for prices and interest rates to stay the same. Is that going to happen? No. So there's got to be some give in some other areas, interest rates or prices, because wages just are not going up that fast. But that's what's going on with affordability, and that's a problem across the country. And it's especially a problem in the entry-level price points, because those folks that purchase homes, if you think about the other side of the transaction, that's the person that's selling their home to buy something more than likely bigger, better, more expensive. And so when you have affordability issues, it hits the bottom tier of the market and trickles upward. The other side of that is that you've got this trickle-down effect where it just doesn't make sense to buy a second home and have a 7% mortgage. There's still a lot of cash being deployed in our market, in markets across the country. And those are the people that are, obviously really finding success because cash is king, right? But the affordability continues to be a problem. I mean, this time last year, we were at 106. So we were positive. Now we're 20% negative. If you look at inventory of homes for sale, this time last year, there were a little over 1,400 homes. Now we've got 24-ish hundred homes. It's hovering around 2,300, 2,400. So inventory has gone up 71%. The month's supply of inventory has more than doubled. And if you look at kind of the precursor activity that we rely on, so like when we're talking with a seller about putting their house on the market, one thing that we really need to understand is what expectations should we have with regard to how many people are going to come and see the house? Like, how do we know our marketing is working? How do we know the market is responding in a favorable way to our house, to our listing? Well, a really easy way of understanding that is by looking at the number of average showings that people in your specific area and price range are receiving on a monthly basis. So we then come up with this target. We say, hey, like in this area, in this price range, we should be getting 10 showings per month. In fact, in the first month, it should be a little bit higher. And I talked about this last program about how we market homes to, when we first market the property, we're essentially marketing to two groups of people, right? Group number one are those people that are ready, willing, and able. They want to buy something right now. They're educated, they're motivated, they're ready to go if the right house hits the market. The second group of people are the people that just enter the market every day, right? Something has changed in their life, and now they're ready to start thinking about buying a house. They're less motivated than group number one. And so usually after about 30 days, if someone from group number one doesn't buy the house, then you're left with group number two. The only way to re-engage group number one, the ready, willing, and able group, is by doing something like a price adjustment. Well, I can tell you that showings across the board are down by a little more than a third. They're down 34.4%, which is a good indicator of kind of the lack of demand that we're seeing as it relates to interest rates and home prices. People are just, they're getting priced out of the market. Now, let's switch over to some of these different counties. Berkeley County, and I'm just going to read this stuff off pretty quickly because I want to get to one more thing before we're out of time. But Berkeley County, new listings are down 14%. Closed sales are down 14%. The median sales price is up 6%. Instead of getting 100% of your asking price this time last year, now you're getting 95.3%. And it's taking a little more than twice as long to sell a property. It was 21 days, now it's 47. And the overall amount of inventory went from 368 homes February of last year to 654 homes February last month, which is an increase of almost 80%. In Dorchester County, new listings are down 6%. Closings are down 24%. Median sales price is up 5.7%. Instead of getting 99.8% of your asking price last year, you're getting 96% as of last month. Instead of it taking 18 days, it's now taking 42 days. And we went from having about 150 properties for sale to 396. So that's about 160% increase in the inventory of homes for sale. And then finally, Charleston County, which, we usually see bigger swings in the numbers in Charleston County. New listings are down 18.5%. Closings are down 38.2%. We had basically 1,000 closings in the first 2 months of last year. But at the end of last month, we had 610. Median sales price is up 11.7%. Instead of you getting 98.7% of your asking price, now you're getting 94.7%. Instead of it taking 24 days to sell, it's taking 43 days to sell, which is up 79.2%. And inventory went from 436 homes this time last year to 727 homes last month. That's up 66.7%. So, last thing I'll say with regard to stats is that, we do talk at times about the national real estate market, the state of the national real estate market, what's happening from a macro perspective. But in reality, there really is no such thing as a national real estate market because markets are so different from one another. Real estate is local. It's hyper local. Sometimes it depends on what's going on your street that dictates how much your home is going to sell for. So if you want information on what's happening with your property, the best way to do that is to speak with somebody really in tune with the market that can give you an idea of if you were to sell now or at some point in the near future, here's what that looks like. Here's a strategy or strategies, pick one, that we can use to sell your home, whatever your level of comfort is, whatever your propensity for risk is. And then we go from there. We execute that plan. So if that's something that I can help you better understand and walk through that with you, my number is 843-800-0065, 843-800-0065, or go to listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or finally, you can send an email to Brian@brianbeattyteam.com. Stick around for the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
More stimulating talk on real estate matters with Brian Beatty next on 1250 WTMA.